Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is the iConis podcast, and today we're going to talk about the return of the Gray Ghost. Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. But right after, we roll the intro. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to the iConis podcast. This is Barry 3D here and Inner iConis Thoughts, and we're going to break down the return of the Gray Ghost. Well, I say return, but I'm not sure if we're reading that far yet. So let's just go through a couple of ideas here. So first of all, remember, you can find all my stuff at barry3d.com. You can check out the website, see where I'm going to be at. Don't forget also check out DJ Rod C. You can see where his links are at. You can check him out. Also, you can find Larry Recklazzato, who does all the YouTube shorts for us, for our channel, which is great. And also Forgotten, Obscure, and Underrated Comic Characters on his Facebook page. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. Don't let the show be a secret. And if you need any digital work done, you can reach out to our boy, Jason Reese, Mr. J Bird Digital Arts. There we go. So that being said, and of course, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, we got a Patreon page. We got a coffee page. If you want to help the channel grow, please support us. We appreciate all that. And today we're just going to dive in. So once again, I'm online, I'm doing my things, and I'm always looking for things that, that I like to read and spark the curiosity. And I came across this one particular drawing, and it got me thinking, about the Gray Ghost. Yes, so the Gray Ghost from DC, Batman the Animated Series, and the Gray Ghost made his first appearance in Season 1, Episode 32, and it was named Simon Trent. So that character came about, and he was the influence to Batman becoming Batman, right? And this character was influenced by obviously it was created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, and they brought this character in because they didn't want to use the Zorro character. I know for years in Batman's origin, it's always, his parents took him to see the Mask of Zorro or the Mark of Zorro. And this is what also shaped a young Bruce Wayne after traumatic events to don the costume he did to become Batman and go forth to be the vengeance of the night. Okay. And these characters are also influenced, real life, like Bob Finger, sorry. They were influenced by The Shadow, Doc Savage, Pulp Fiction characters of that genre to make this character as a Pulp Fiction character. So, you see how the influences goes, as I always say at the end, it's all about a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. This is what they did, and they expressed it that way. And then, of course, we have this character that is beloved and has given us stories for years upon years upon years in all different types of media, going to date and still going. But of course, Batman starts off, and this is where he comes in. Now, Batman, as I said, the Zorro. But when they did the animated series, which was really well done, it still stands the test of time, it brought in another character called the Gray Ghost. And the Gray Ghost, like as Paul Dini and Bruce Timm were saying, is they wrote this episode specifically for Adam West. Adam West, who did Batman 66 live action with Burt Ward, and they wanted it to be almost true to what it was, right? Where he was an actor who got portrayed and stereotyped as this one particular character, and when he tried to do stuff after that, it wasn't successful. And they said, well, we wrote this episode, hopefully he wouldn't be offended, and if he would have said no, they would have scrapped the whole episode altogether. We would have been done with it. And that's where they came up with the idea of the Gray Ghost, because they didn't want to use the IP for Zorro because they had to pay the estate. It would have been a lot of money. And, they didn't want to put that out there at that time. Fine. So this is where they kind of tweaked the origin and this character came about. Now, the Gray Ghost has already appeared in like Jonah Hex as a villain. And then there was a Gray Ghost character with Batgirl. Okay, fine. But this one is the animated series one, voiced by Adam West, going through similar things parallel to him being Batman and being typecast for that after. And he was very honored. He signed on board to do this episode right away. He was honored to do it. Okay, now we see that, we get it, and the episode was a lot of fun to watch. And then in that world, the animated series world, we see the Gray Ghost was the one that influenced a young Bruce Wayne through his trauma to go for it. All right, we don't have to rehash the whole origin. Everyone knows the origin. If not, Google it. For the odd person might not. It's got different versions of it, but you get the gist of it. So now in the episode, we have an older Bruce Wayne, and he turns around and he sees, finds the Gray Ghost. He's talking to Dick Grayson about it. you know, and it's like, you don't know the Gray Ghost. Is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or is it Tim Drake? Sorry, it's Tim Drake. In there, he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he goes, Alfred, get the tapes. We're doing a movie night. Set up the theater. Da 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 da. Then, of course, in the episode, they run across, you know, Simon Trent because certain things happen. He gets brought into it. They solve a case. So Batman in the animated series is working alongside his influence as hero, and he's so enamored with him. Goes, does what he needs to do, fine. At the end of the episode, he shows up. He's getting like a poster signed or a video cassette signed because the actor's career now is getting a resurgence. This is nice. He's doing signings just like you would see at a Comic-Con or a fan expo. Okay, that's great. And all the nostalgia that's there. In the background, you see a Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen in the background of the episode. Real quick, if you look, you'll catch them. Beautiful ending. Now, why are we talking about and why I keep saying the return of the Gray Ghost? Well, there was an artist that turned around and did his own rendition of Tim Drake being the Gray Ghost. And so we all know Batman says he's supposed to be a solo character, but he's got a huge family of people that he's influenced or he's helped and he's brought along the time. And then the Gray Ghost is one of them that comes out. So some of the ideas I like. So I know Jason, you know, let's break it down. Dick Grayson has a little bit of a falling out, rebels against Batman, and then he comes back. He leaves the Robin persona. He comes back as Nightwing. Got it? No problem. Let's not forget, though, Nightwing has nothing to do with Batman. I said it. Nightwing has nothing to do with Batman. Who Nightwing is, he was influenced by Superman because Superman was talking to him when he was taking this break and he quit being Robin, and he told him about Tales of Krypton, and he goes, well, in Krypton, there is heroes that we knew of, and they were called Nightwing and Flamebird. And Dick Grayson goes, Nightwing, I like that name. Would it be okay if I call myself Nightwing? And Clark is kind of like, Superman's kind of like, oh, what would Bruce say? He goes, I'm being my own man. He goes, okay. So after they reconcile and the Nightwing persona comes out there, you realize it's like every time he's Nightwing, Bruce is kind of like, you're my son, but you're influenced by someone else. Okay, fine. Jason Todd comes back. All right, well, he's the Red Hood, which was a persona used by the Joker, his main nemesis. All right, Bruce is still cool. He's like, I got you, Tim. You're my new Robin. Okay. Wait a minute, you don't want to be Robin no more? Well, wait a minute, I now got Damian. Well, I want Damian to be my Robin. I can't have two Robins. You're going to be Red Robin, and he's going to be Robin. Here's where I think it could have gone in. If Dick Grayson is Nightwing, influenced by Superman, Jason Todd is the Red Hood, influenced by the Joker, to bring this whole thing back together, we could have had Tim Drake as the Gray Ghost. Okay? Now, I know there's an artist on there on Reddit, and he goes by hunkerdown_son, S-O-N, and he made an art rendition, which was really nice. So I take no credit for this. I've never spoken to this person, but it just inspired me that he went and he put out a whole costume, you're seeing here, of Tim Drake as the Gray Ghost. And I feel that the relationship that Tim Drake has along with Bruce Wayne, that he would be the one that would say, hey, well, you followed Superman, you followed the enemy, I'm going to follow an influence of Batman. So instead of it being Red Robin, let it be the Gray Ghost. Let him come back. And he does a whole, I said, nice rendition of the costume where it gives him like a swan-like appearance with the mask. It's got emergency things in there. He's got a collapsible bow staff in his back. He's got a grappling hook in his back. He's got pouches for pellets and so forth like that. And then on top of it, the cape opens up and it allows him to glide. And he becomes the new Gray Ghost. Why can't DC turn around and do something like that? Because I think even if they take a variation of what hunkerdown_son did, right? This, I think, would have been on the right path. Because therefore, you know, then it would be nice to see that one of the guys, because even though Damian is Robin, Damian is only taking Robin as a stepping stone to become Batman. So it's like, okay, well, I'm the apprentice role, but I will be Batman because you're my father. All this is mine. Mom told, and he's got that arrogant attitude, and people like it, don't like it. But Tim Drake can now stand on his own with his own identity as the Gray Ghost to bring back this character, to tie it into the DC animated series, into the comic books, and even beyond that, bring that character into Teen Titans and let him have his own identity finally without Red Robin, and you see how it kind of blurs my speech? The whole 9 yards. So the Grey Ghost would stand in his own adventures, give him proper rogues galleries, and it's a nice tie back. And of course, I know they can't say Zoro anymore. I think this would even stand out more as a talking spot amongst, let's say, the group of sidekicks, as I call them, right? And I'm talking Nightwing, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Damian as Robin to say, hey, you're taking on the moniker of the Grey Ghost? Bruce would like it. It would, I'm not sure if they'll make anyone jealous amongst that, but at least someone would say, hey, at least someone is following Bruce and he's influenced by one of his mentors to carry on this mantle. So, once again, bring back the Grey Ghost. It never hurts to look online to see everyone and see what people have as idea. And this inspired me to make this video because those adventures I would want to see. And if it could even say the original Grey Ghost, bring him into the comic book, Simon Trent, to turn around and say, someone's carrying, I did this character on TV, but now someone's doing it live. Hey, that's two people that, he's paying homage to, that he's influenced. So the question is, what do you guys think? Do you believe that I'm on the right track with this? And keep in mind, I have no idea. I didn't create this. I'm just going from what I saw. So would you like to see Tim Drake as the Grey Ghost? If so, tell me more. Write it down in the comments and say, does this have legs to stand on? Or am I reaching on this one? I'm good either way. This is the iConis podcast. My name is Barry 3D. And remember, like, subscribe, and share. Don't let the show be a secret. And this whole world, as Hunker Down Son did, has been created by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. And until then, oh no, look out! It's the Grey Ghost. I had to do it that way, okay. Cheers.